Iran rejecting a 15-point proposal from the U.S. to end the war. Iranian state media quoting top officials saying that it will end the war when it decides to do so, and laying out 5 conditions Tehran wants met. This comes after President Trump touted progress in reported talks with the country, suggesting both sides were close to a deal. But the fighting is escalating. The IDF says it's still striking targets across Iran, including 2 sites that were allegedly used to produce naval cruise missiles. ABC's foreign correspondent Tom Soufi Burridge is in Tel Aviv and joins me now. Tom, great to see you. What is Iran demanding in order to even consider an end to this war?
Yes, Stephanie, I don't think we know the specifics of what Iran is demanding in this latest round of negotiations. But given the fact that we had negotiations before this war at the end of February and before the 12-day war back in the summer, I think we have a fair idea. I mean, Iran, in terms of its maximalist demands, wants the U.S. to decommission, leave its U.S. bases in the Gulf. No chance of President Trump agreeing to that. It also wants relief from sanctions. I think more than anything this time around, though, given the rhetoric coming out of Tehran, is that the Iranians are looking for some kind of guarantee that would mean that the U.S. and Israel will not attack Iran once again if there were to be a deal. But there's lots of ifs right now. I mean, there's no real sign that the maximalist demands on the U.S. side and the Iranian side before the war could be reconciled this time around, given what's happened over the last 3.5 weeks. And there's a lot of confusion. I mean, if you take the Iranian position today, on Iranian state TV, an Iranian official is quoted rejecting this 15-point plan that, according to 2 U.S. officials, the U.S. administration has passed to the Iranians via the Pakistanis, who are acting as mediators. But at the same time, we had the spokesperson for the Iranian Foreign Ministry going on Indian TV, saying that talks aren't happening at all, and that U.S. diplomacy can't be trusted.
Tom, let's talk about the Strait of Hormuz. It appears to be a major sticking point for Iran. What is Tehran saying about what it would take to reopen that critical shipping passage?
Well, I mean, according to a senior Israeli security official that we spoke to, Israel is working on the premise that Iran has laid naval mines into the Strait of Hormuz. It's a very, very narrow stretch of water, a critical waterway in terms of key exports, oil and gas, but other very vital exports for the world's economy, like fertilizers. Look, the Iranians that is certainly part of the negotiation right now. And look, the Iranians, that is their kind of trump card in all this, the fact that they have the stranglehold on the Strait of Hormuz. Look, the US military definitely has been carrying out strikes on positions along that coastline. And we, on a briefing today, spoke to the IDF and challenged them on to what extent those operations have been completed to diminish Iran's capabilities to fire at vessels if there was going to be any kind of push by the US and its allies to try and get vessels through that strait. But look, I think what the senior Israeli security official was emphasizing to us is that you don't need much military capability to effectively hold the world's economy to ransom by basically holding that strait. A few naval mines in the water can cause absolute havoc to ships. And if one ship were to be blown up, that senior Israeli security official told us, then it would cause havoc with energy prices again and with the global economy in general.